Hello everyone and welcome back to another Solution 2 video. Today we continue with a league cast. This is the quarterfinals between Dédé and GustGod. So we go down to Division 3. We've had a ton of games from Division 1, some from Division 2. And I think it's finally time that we actually give those lower divisions also some time to shine. So it's not just, we're not going to entirely focus on them, but I definitely want to bring some more games in from these tiers as well, divisions as well, as the league slowly gets to a conclusion. And today we have Dédé and GustGod playing first US and second US. So this is what we're going to see here is the second US Civil War from 1944. It's not so well known, so this is why we have to cover it here. And I think we're just going to get right into the decks. Let's start off with second US Indian Hat. This is one that we definitely know it has been around for quite a while. It used to be super good and then kind of fell down a little bit. Still decent, but definitely nothing compared to what it used to be when it was super strong. But, it has a bit of everything that you might need for this map. So after a couple of bans, I can see why this would still be picked. And we do have to arrange marauders in the fast transport. I'm surprised he brings only one card of them because they're quite good. It's great to have some AT on that, on your in your deck with that one, and it comes in the fast transport. So if you take more than one card, you kind of have, you have the one card that you can rush in early on, you still have some reserves. Otherwise, just some recon in the A20, which is kind of like an M8, but only with the 50 cal, which is not a bad transport at all. Speaking of which, M8, of course, is there. Intab has some odd choices. You see the basics, never really seen them used ever, so I'm very surprised about having them here. And I kind of forgot to check what they have. I assume they probably have one machine gun, like BR or something like that. I have to hope, because otherwise it would be very, very bad. But again, I haven't actually checked it before I started recording, so I don't know. Rangers LMG, they're great for an opener, and with the commander, they can actually survive a little bit. So that's not too bad. Rangers, of course, is really bad now with their availability. So he doesn't actually believe in bringing rifles early. So we just have the basics in the Rangers LMG. Because the other thing that we have is engineers. So a ton of Seekers and Apex. It looks like GustGod is really afraid of losing Seekers and Apex. But I'm not sure if it's really needed. Yes, in a town it makes a difference. But at the same time, it's not that Seekers heavy of a map. So maybe that's a bit overkill. I think one of the Rangers card could have been dropped. In B phase, of course, he brings rifles late, and then the assault group, which comes in 50 cal hat trick though, which for 20 points is meh. Let's be honest, you didn't get a lot of it. He brings 2 cards of lead, that's interesting as well. And then in C phase, just a demolition group, so no range tools. So it's definitely there's definitely not an abundance here of line infantry. It's very risky, in my opinion. Also, the low amount of infantry in general is very interesting. Remember, 12 of those are just the basics. But of course, having the bazookas is nice, and the flamer there. Tank tab, Herman and Stewards, that's definitely nice. So he has some light armor in A phase and some light armor in B phase, and then the Rhines, of course, which are definitely going to be a bit of a problem for first use infantry. Support tab, he brings the ranger, which is really cool to see, and they can harass infantry just fine. They're not a bad unit per se, but it really depends on what else you want to take. The tab can be a bit strange. We have the one card of 105. So surprised we don't see any 105 howitzers though. 50 cal Crocodile, really cool to see that. It's a great unit, and this should, I think, be a huge pain for first US to deal with. So that's a nice choice there for the town, I think. AT tab, M1 gun, M5 gun in B phase when you have it, and then in A phase he has some M10s, and in B phase he has some Hellcats as well. You don't need that many M10s in A phase, of course, because there's nothing in first US that can deal with those. Anyway, AA tab, the usual, just bothers. He goes with the double vet in B, which is not something we do see a lot of people doing. Koenig does it, and other than that, I think not that many, because it is very risky. You have a low amount of AA if you do that. So you really have to make best use of it. Literally, we do see an off-map in A phase, so I guess he really wants to make sure that he can win the fight over the hill early on. This is where I assume he's going to drop that. Artillery leader, so even more leader. That's probably a bit excessive, because let's be honest, he has plenty of infantry leaders already, and none of the tools in his artillery tab can really profit from it, right? The xylophone does not profit from it, the half-track doesn't profit from it, and the off-map, of course, doesn't do that. Anyway, so that was something that I find very odd. I would not have taken that. Xylophone is not that good, honestly. If you combine both of them together, maybe they can work kind of like an off map, so maybe that's what he tends to use it for. But it's really not that good. And 81 mode is good. Surprised that we see it in B though. Air trap, yeah. P47s, fighter, one card, fighter bombers, and Rocket planes, still an odd choice there because I don't think you need one fighter at single vet. Your bombers are okay as fighter bombers. They're not too slow for that. And I think you're just wasting another slot there, but that's at least my take on it. And on the other side, we do have first infantry from Dédé. So this is an interesting choice because it is not I would say, not most suited division for this map specifically. There's also not that many advantages that you have over second US. I think there's a bigger issue here. I'm not really sure who his first pick. I think if Dédé first pick, this was a major mistake. If he second picked, I think it was also a mistake just because it's generally a better idea to just play something different rather than trying to match as many strengths of your opponent as you can with a similar division, because that usually is not going to end up well for you. So we do have here the M18 A phase, of course, and the recon sending B phase also coming with the A20, so 50 cals here as well. Now infantry tab, we do have some interesting choices here. Of course, we do see all the good more CQC heavy units that we have here: Assault Bastard, Assault Fire Support, Stonewallers, Assault Team. Actually, no, we don't see all of them. There is one missing. I can't remember the name, but there's definitely another one. And we do have the Stonewallers in here, which is not that uncommon. Some people like those 20-point units that you have, but you know, there's definitely some speed in there, which is quite nice. Engineers in B phase as well as rifles early, and then some rifles late in C phase at double weight, which is an interesting choice. We do have a leader coming in B phase, which is also very odd, especially if you look at the AT tab, because one thing so this division used to be really bad against anything with light armor, which includes second US, because it didn't really have that many bazookas. It had 2 in A phase on the leader. Now, this has changed since. There has, you know, the leader that used to have it, you get now 3 units per card, and there's now bazookas in the AT-tab in A phase as well. However, he does not take any leaders in A phase, not the bazooka one. He has some leaders in B phase. And then in the tank tab, we have Stewards and a lot of Shermans. So it looks like that is kind of compensating for the fact that it doesn't really have many Shermans in B phase by just taking a lot of them in A phase, which you can do, but not a huge fan of it, honestly, because you can kind of use the M10 to compensate for that, really. But yeah, so in support tab, we do have the M7 a commander, which is again very obvious. There's not that many leaders here, and you can't really profit from it early on. So this is a major mistake there, in my opinion. Well, not a major, but you know, it is definitely a mistake. There's other things you could take. 50 cal in B phase as well as ammo. They do not come in A phase, the 50 cals. AT tab, no bazookas, again, major mistake. So there's no bazookas whatsoever in the deck. Maybe the leader in B phase has them, but that's full on the leader. That's not ideal if that's all you have. So any light armor, which, yeah, second US has, and you know, GustGod decided to bring, will be a big issue for this division. So that is going to struggle here. And then we have M1, M5 guns, of course, again, phase lock to B phase. You can't bring them in A, same for the M10, so this is why 2K AT, at least in A phase, is missing. But yeah, there's that. And then the A tab, quite a lot of buffers, so it looks like Dédé is really afraid of getting air spams, so decided to take all of them. The one in B phase, even with the M16 tractor, which is a bit of a trap in my opinion, because it just makes the whole AAP super expensive. Having the M16 for that price that you get, I think it's 30 points, is quite nice though. And the artillery tab, we do have spotters, which honestly would not actually be necessary since you have the leader with radio, commander, and your mates and these kind of things. But you can definitely take it. Oh no, I remember why. You don't get any recon in A phase, so you actually have to take it. Everything, by the way, here comes with free wet, so that's actually huge. One thing I just noticed in the infantry tab, going back to that real quick, that it didn't really double vet that many units. So he double vetted the rifles late, which leaves him with 18, which is like the same if you would have single vetted it if it hadn't free vet. But all the other he leaves at single vet, which in my opinion, I personally prefer to have them double vetted, because then at least they overperform a little, like they perform better. And you still get normal numbers, so that's where I'm standing on that. But anyways, in the artillery tab, yes, the spotters, of course, single vet, so it's nice to get still free. The 105, which is actually not too bad. I think you cannot bring the mortar half track in A phase, I'm not mistaken, but you could bring regular mortar. So maybe the mortar half track is available. I think that one's available actually. A big off map in A phase too, so you also wants to contest that hill area probably very early on. Then just some M7 105s. Air tab, recon, the A20 Chi, which is actually quite nice. Fighter and more A20s as bomber design. Now let's take a look at the deployments. So Dédé got the worst side of this with red side, which has two main disadvantages. First of all, it's so easy to lose a flank right away, so that's one issue. The other thing is that, you know, there's these two flanks on the hill. If you lose those, and you don't have that much hill to work with, really, if you get pushed out of this, then what blue side can do is they can just put some AT guns up here, some support tools, just range tools really, and then make it really hard for red side to get back into it. Also, you can then support a take of this flag, and that nets you 3 flags right away. With the hill under control, you can also prevent a red side with line of sight from up here to really get a hold of this flag, so that makes it potentially very dangerous for red side. Now red can of course push here, but you just have to push very deep. You don't have that many easy flags to take really, and with that, also, by the way, this, of course, if red takes the hill, then things look very different, because then you get 2 flags here, and then you basically, by extension, get these 2 here. So that can actually work quite well in your favor. As for the deployments, GustGod is going with his not super heavy deployment here in the south. Some things on the hill, some defensive positions, actually some more aggressive positions in here, which is surprising, since while he has some fast transports, they're not quite as fast as some of these that first US gets. You do see mostly stewards there, some infantry, the cheaper stuff, and some of the good one, Soul Team, some fast and some high quality CQC-ish units or hybrid units, and with a generally strong deployment here on the hill, which of course he doesn't want to lose. Also aggressive in there. 40 open, you do see the M7 right away. We do see a little push attempt into this, and of course grabbing of this. So this is not, it's the thing where red side is slightly advantage. Red side should have a little bit of an easier time getting into this building complexes here, and that can flip that flag. Then blue has to fight from the open. Up north, Steward coming in and one gun to secure it off, and the assault bus just to make sure that he doesn't lose that. Basics here for GustGod just to hold it. And GustGod in the center also tries to get in there, but I think that's just a recon. Yeah, it's just recon. And we'll bazooka, but still. M10 early on, and the Rangers, so that could potentially endanger this quite nicely. So let's see where this is going to go. Look, this. Let's go. And yeah, so I think here is definitely where, based on the deployment, Dédé is going to have quite the advantage here early on. However, I think his opener here in the center is a little bit more endangered, since the M10 can really counter the super well. It kind of depends on where the M8s go. Well, they go out in the open, they're probably going to get sniped at this. This thing has a heat shell too. Same range as the M8. But it will one-shot it, whereas the M8 will have to two-shot this. It also has 8 rounds a minute. Accuracy is only 30%. I could still kill the M8. It's actually cheaper, so it's not too bad. So let's see. No, M10 still has to work its way in. And there we go. Did they actually got the early 1311 or how? Exactly. Oh, this flag. Yeah, okay. Of course, makes sense. Ranger Marauder's not gonna get in. See, this is what I meant. I'm surprised that we don't see the M8s by GustGod. It's a great tool for the open. There's one over here. But the Rangers actually got in. The Assault Buster here and the Assault team got stopped, so that's big. Shin's getting in here too. Nothing to deal with that though. The Cali in a nice position over here where you can kind of lock down this area, but also support the town. The downside is you can easily get shot up by anything. 1410, basics here is maybe, yeah, not the unit to hold this against the Seeker. So it's not the unit that you want to have holding anything when you need to fight, really. Ranger is pushing forward, could potentially get a kill here on the M8, or it just gets sniped by the M7. M8, I think, is spotting it, but the Ranger is not yet spotting the M8. There we go, crew kill, although it's not going to spot it either. Well, he can spot it, he just can't react to it. So the opener from Dédé seems to be seems to be working just fine. The lack of bazookas on GustGod's infantry is also definitely noticeable here, in these two areas, generally speaking. Though here it's not that important yet. But I have a feeling that Dédé will notice his lack of bazookas as well very soon. This is the good one with the heat shell, so that is a very good matchup for this Sherman over there, or against that Sherman over there. Just needs to be careful with the M1 gun. M10 could potentially dominate here. It can really kill anything that's here at the moment. So more basics coming just to fill the ground, hold the ground, but he needs to be careful that the M8 doesn't easily snipe them. think this is where I can kind of see an issue. So we're just pushing forward here. Sherman needs to come in and react. Otherwise this flag might eventually fall. D47 got in and did a bombing strike. I don't know on what. This maybe? Sherman 105 is now pushing as the Stuart here died. Another assault team coming in. The Rangers are in here, but currently not really grabbing any ground. Commander coming out next to the both, so that's a good call to support, you know, your artillery, and of course there's leadership, but it's not worth it really. 15-9 though for Dédé, as he's still holding this flag. He pushed successfully into that one too, since there was nothing really holding this right there. But back to this, so generally speaking, putting the commander next to AA while you have it is a good idea, or artillery. It's a bad idea in the sense of it is more easily targeted by anything going after this or your artillery, but you know, the call itself to put it there is a good one. The call to call it in is a bad one because again, there is one unit here that can really profit from it, and just to give you AA double vet, it's a little bit expensive for that. Oh my. M10 is going to get too close. M8 is falling back, no major mistake there. But actually no. The M10... Oh, now it's get stuck on this M8. Yeah, this thing was not in range for a heat shell, so it maybe was not that smart. But it's currently busy finding the other M8, so... Now I need to turn. This M8 can get a shot off. And he can actually... Well, it's probably not going to pen, though. Nice movement there. Hiding, pushing out, hiding. You know, eventually the heat shell, the HE of the M7 will also kill it. It just needs to go long enough. All heat shells here are used up, so this thing is effectively useless against those tanks. Still useful in general, but just not against those tanks. We do see an early 105 in going after the, well, 105 artillery howitzer going after the 105 Sherman. Basics is in here, but it won't win against the stone walls. And the M10 is just slowly getting poked down by the M7. How damaged does it look? Oh, yeah, it looks a little bit damaged. Eventually gonna die. Now it's pushing forward as the Sherman arrives to save, to secure the flank, but it's not quite here. So now the M8 could still make plays. Actually can pop out right here. He's falling it back again. He probably noticed that his timing is not quite right, but there we go. The M7 finally killed it. Yeah, you can't just leave tanks in front of HE weapons. Eventually they will kill. It's gonna take a while, but it will happen. And both these are the lower armored Germans, by the way, so there's no advantage here for either side. Ideally, I think the 105 will move up into the commander range as well. Has shifted since to still go after the 105. Which so happens to include the Sherman now as well. And of course a recon, which could potentially be huge. Rangers LMG try to fight the assault team. Triple wet now versus... yeah, a not so large unit with not that much firepower. And even though it has commando, it's just not going to go well. Triple wet both is, yeah, it's just too far back, so it didn't even stop the P47. It's not going to kill it either. P47 is going to get out just fine. 12-12 now, with this flag being regrabbed and that one as well. And one gun now coming in. Sherman pushing. Now this isn't dangerous. The Sherman needs to be careful here because you don't really want to fight the M7 here with Sherman. Because the M7 can one-tap that. In the towns, things quieted down. Sherman now engaging. Now the 105 should actually be here as well, because the Sherman will, or any tank will naturally target the target with the highest armor. So the 105 being here would mean that this thing could tank while the Sherman can shoot at the other Sherman. Yeah, that would be a very good move. Now, they're going to bounce for a bit, but eventually, as you've just seen, they're going to pen. And I have a feeling GustGod is going to lose that. There we go. See, if the 105 would have been here, this would not have happened. Or there we come with an off map. So that can easily turn all of this around. I just need to drop here. That's probably going to eviscerate quite a bit, but GustGod is not actually getting things ready. So it's not looking that bad. He has tools ready to follow up and get a kill there on whatever is here, like surrender it. So it's not too bad. Ranger, again, with the heat shell, would actually be very dangerous. It would be a good tool to deal with those Shermans. There we go. I'm just going to come down here. 820 pushing forward. Heat shell. No. No. Yeah, heat shell is out. Ooh, no. Hold on. No, it is not. It was not. Another mate coming in. M1 gun not yet in position, but you will be very soon. Another M1 gun coming out. Still not in a B phase yet. So the 2K tools from Dédé have not yet arrived. Back to 1212. His flag just barely held, but that's going to change very soon. Artillery just keeps on working on the 105. It is damaged. Maybe got a pen. There we go. First target done by the off map. Yeah, GustGod needs to move this. He wants not to lose it. Most Germans coming in. Another 105 howitzer coming in. That is maybe focusing a little bit too much on artillery. Oh, there we go. One of the M7 died. Another one of the M7 died. Both M7s down. Wow. That did not go super well. That much is clear. Moving with the assault bus. I think maybe he forgets that this is an HE rocket, which yeah, it won't do much. And it will just reveal itself, and eventually they will start shooting at it. But this thing does not really do that much damage. We can actually see if anything happens. Nah, looks pretty much undamaged. It's not the first person though who that happened to. I've definitely seen someone trying the same thing against me at some point. Stonewall is being strafed by the P-47. Yeah, so if you haven't known, 50 cals, while great on vehicles and as a unit itself, as a heavy machine gun, really bad for strafing on a plane. Like, they will shoot things down in a plane. It's not a bad unit to have on your plane, but don't expect it to do anything against ground targets. It reliably fails to pin. Okay. Did the second off map also drop? That would have been a, oh no, that might have been a very bad Easter then, since, you know, the off map getting off early on. Since dropping the off map then following up with a push would be the way to go. Or is it so slow rolling that it's still going? Might still be going. Yeah, I think he took the slow rolling one. I think that might have happened there. This one not being unloaded. I'm generally a fan of following advice that Koenig gave me or others quite a while ago of not unloading things. I've started doing that more often so that you can unload them when you actually need them unloaded, and you can still move them easily if you need to. But for artillery, that's not really the case. Just bring it out. But I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. This is more an indication for me of, well, he forgot about it, which is bad because you can use it, right? You always want to have your artillery fire. You always want to get value out of it. 820s are coming in for rocket strikes. That's a big one. Pinning a lot of things here, but the Chinese are still there. Rangers are also still alive. The other one is going after the leader here, or the ranger, which is going to kill the both of us. Won't be able to kill that in return. So they actually saved up quite a bit on the air spam here. These things can do the work, but they can also fail spectacularly. Ranger pushed off the assault team. I mean, for pure CQC, this is much better. But this is good. This is not too bad, but I mean, we can look at it again. This is the CQC thing. These do extra damage and suppression. It's not going to be that much damage or suppression, really. Tunisia being shot at. Now trying to move away. Ranger here could potentially snipe that Steward. Steward has noticed as well, though. Ranger, ooh, look at how fast it's aiming. Oh, there's also an M1 gun. Something's got to kill that. Nope. Okay. 105 now being put to work on the Bofors. Bofors already falling back. Actually into the area. Oh, M5 gun is here as well. Not unloaded. Yeah, if you have it, that's definitely not if it's next to a target. Because then they might just die as well. Major mistake here actually by GustGod not putting anything here. He has more basics. He could just shift the Sherman ever so slightly and I think he would be safe there. M10's now coming in to kill off that Sherman in the center. So GustGod's definitely going to need to react to that. 3011 for Dédé, who still is not using the 105 over here, but this one is being put to good use. I think it's going to get a kill at the M10 here eventually. Oh, Ranger. Nope, misses. One gun slowly moving to position, but there's nothing to be seen here. You can definitely lock this off, but you have to clear the first rows of houses here, otherwise you're just going to lose some units there. M10 actually shooting at the assault bus, but there we go. 105 finally there. And, you know, GustGod doesn't have a ton of those. I was quite surprised to not see him taking any of the howitzers, which in my opinion would have been the right call here. So he only has one more 105, and that's all the 2kg is going to get. P51 coming in again. Both of us might not be in the right position to stop it once again. Retarget it, but the P51 still going to get that. Both of us tries to prevent it. P51 turns the right direction. That's going to evade the both of us pretty much. Not both of us coming in here. The problem is two A20Gs, it won't be stopped by this. They might actually, since they have rockets and might actually, or not might, are going to be able to shoot a little bit further from a further distance than a bomber would. They could potentially actually attack the Bofors. The Bofors is, I don't know, and Bofors are just with the rate of fire, it's not ideal. Personally, I've started to not really like Bofors that much, really. They're good AA pieces, but one on its own, sometimes it can do surprisingly little, at least if a lot of planes are coming. It's not a Flak 43, which is better in my opinion. And it also doesn't kill, that's another big thing. Off-map being shifted here, so probably both of them were dropped, and now it's just using it for recon after match, because I think it has recon trade. It does. Oh yeah, he just dropped it now. Sherman here versus Sherman, and once again, it looks like GustGod just being unlucky. Well, okay. I would feel super bad if I was GustGod. Frustrated, that rather. Because, I mean, he had 2 times, he had the Sherman with more veterancy, and it didn't matter as a bit. Because both times, he got penned twice, whereas his Sherman didn't pen a single time. Like, that is super unlucky. And it's just not much you can do. Like, that's just bad luck. That's what that is. Nothing done wrong. Just the game deciding that today's not going to be your day. Assault group coming in with the half-track and pretty much uncontested since this thing can't really do anything about it. The M1 caravan can definitely hurt it later on. M5 gun can also hurt the half-track, but not if the half-track arrives in time, which it appears to be. M10 here is wasting its APCR on the M20, but the Sherman is still there. Not going away. 2 Hellcats coming in now on GustGod's side. With their APCR still there, they can definitely outrange this. Leader is following the tank, which is a good idea, but you need ammo. So supplies are desperately needed over here. Not, of course, it's not that important in this matchup, but still, the 2k matters, and the Hellcats, which are super vulnerable and could otherwise be an issue for, you know, could otherwise struggle against the M10, will now be able to outrange it and potentially get a kill there. 30 for GustGod all of a sudden with his range here grabbing ground, but I think that frontline bubble here might collapse eventually unless GustGod managed to push by the assault team over here, which is currently outranged. Oh no, it's this one anyway. But with support of the M5 gun, that might actually not. No, it's still gonna win. So not looking very good there for GustGod, or for his scrap here at least. There we go, slowly starts. Yeah, basics just, they're not stonewallers at the end of the day. I mean, this is basically useless. I think this is what the basic here stands for. Oh, Hellcats find the M10s. Interestingly enough, oh, there's no recon. No, this is recon. Surprised that it wasn't, if they didn't see it earlier. But nonetheless, they get the kill here on the M10. I do see some units being, some units being brought in up north. So GustGod could potentially, if he follows this pathing right here, if it wasn't from the M5 gun, for the M5 gun, which just noticed as well, he could sneak through here and probably get the best of the assault buster up there. But as a matter of fact, it's probably not going to work because of the M5 gun. But that's the channel here. Another 105 come in. Rhinos deck xylophone was brought in earlier. I think, GustGod brought it in to help him secure this. He's using a close range, which is very good. So if you have a bad unit like this, if you use it very up close, it is actually usable. You can use it kind of like an off-map. It didn't really kill anything, but I think the rifles like just killed whatever was there. Oh, 2 M7s in. So all the 2k from both players, 2k HE from both players is now gathered in here. They are out of 2k HE otherwise. 2 of them might have been a bit of an overkill. It's actually a super useful unit in channel, so I'm surprised that he brought it in over here. M10 is now pushed forward. but it does not really, doesn't really have any cover. So that's certainly not ideal. Now, if you can snipe the transport here, that would be absolutely fatal. GustGod, because transport, like, supplies are very important, especially if you have something ammo hungry like his telephone. And as we've established, he also needs to resupply his transports. So just that. Oh, it spotted the half track there. Not the assault group though, by the looks of it. Cats are being reloaded. APCR is there. Let's see if the supply is falling back in time. Both is coming. So yeah, that's definitely the way to go. You want to have 2 Bofors for one area if you are faced with a plane like the A20G, because you just can't force one off out of with just one Bofors. It's not going to happen. The Ranger could be dangerous over here if it's spotted, and I think it could definitely go after Sherman, but I think it's just going to get taken down by the east. Nope, they're missing horribly. Well, they're wasting all of the heat shells now, so that's actually very bad for Dédé. Yeah, who's back? Who's down 2 flags now? Oh, they're shooting at the rifles later. They can't see it, and it can't see any. Well, those I think would be out of range of it anyway. Nope, but Sherman can see it and gets a kill there. Food sent for GustGod now, though, with him holding these 2 flags. Oh, and GustGod has been saving up. He's saved up for P47. There's no AA here. Something just penned the M10. Was it one of the Hellcats? Yeah, they're out of APCR. This thing is not, but it has not. The APCR hasn't been turned on. P51 tried to head on the P47. It's generally not a good idea since, you know, the P47. Oh, there we go. The Hellcats get the kill. Wow. Since again, the P47. No, I think could have had this. Why did he stop? Or maybe not. Maybe he couldn't. I thought he would have. Anyway, P47, of course, medium resilience. Quite a strong loadout, so you never really want to head on this. Never, ever. The Rhinos are now in, and they're quite dominant. And, well, GustGod doesn't know this, but he can play this very safely. There's, we can actually double check. Yeah, this. Oh no, this one is bazooka. So now there's bazookas on the field. The whole team gets the best of the better of. Anyway, kills the Rangers. Rhino just being up close here, pretty much impenetrable to anything that's here at the moment. Commander is in a very weird spot. I mean, it's linking up so that he can add veterancy to leaders in this area and potentially here as well later on, but it is not affecting anything at the moment, and none of these tools are really doing anything at the moment. I mean, this is nice, don't get me wrong, but it's not that important. At the GustGod come in with 4 Hellcats, so I think at this point it's going to be very difficult, although he has to be careful because the M5 gun has APCR as well, and he can just kill them easily. It needs more, yeah, it needs 2 hits though for 1 Hellcat. They're low health, but not that low health. Turret stuck. If it was already facing the right way, that is good. Otherwise, it's really bad. Another M1 gun over here, so he has to be very careful. Ooh, one of them did go down. Yeah, this is where the 2K HE would be very useful, which is kind of missing. Crocodile coming in as well as we reach C phase. Love to see it. Fire support here being quite annoying. Rangers could definitely push forward here and destroy that. Rhino here versus Sherman. This should finally... No way. Did he get a side shot? I would be raging if it was GustGod, because this thing is what should be really tanky here and save the day for GustGod. And it's just not at the moment. Luckily for GustGod, this thing has used up its heat shell. I'm not really sure if Dédé has noticed, but it will eventually kill the Rhino, but it's going to take a while. Rhino just easily finished that. 2 A20Gs can definitely kill that Rhino, and the 2 Bofors are not in the right position to stop that. Oh, they miss. One of them misses quite horribly. Probably was going after the other thing. P47 trying to go after it, but the Bofors is there. Can easily stop that. Yeah, GustGod might consider one away. Of course, you also need to be worried about any fighter getting on the back of this now. 14-10 for GustGod still, though. This Hellcat blob still in the center, but M5 gun kind of zoning him out nicely. And again, this is why you need more 2K AG. Especially in a matchup like this, I think the howitzer will probably be okay, or probably be better, because you have to be afraid of this. Of course, there's also this thing, but this doesn't have any 2K AG, so can't shoot back. Hellcat's having a go at the M10. Oh, another one goes down. Only one remains, and the last one gets taken up by the M5 gun. That's a huge loss there for GustGod. Big win for Dédé. I think that basically won him the center now. There's not that much to get. Well, GustGod still has the M5 guns, but that's all there is. And more M10, another M10 coming in. So Dédé still has the 2k that he needs there. He's lost his 2k as well. No, actually, is one that he could shift. P47 just circling here. It could definitely go up to something. This one has not been. I know it has been used. Just reloading at the moment, but 13-11 for GustGod still. This flag just barely held by Dédé, so GustGod does not manage to push him off the hill entirely. But no leader coming for this, and then from one gun is coming, can definitely end the Rhino, especially if it's showing side armor. After that, it is a bit tricky. It can still do it at this range, but it's not going to be super easy. Oh, the Rhino is noticing and turning though, and now the M1 guns bounces. Rhino forcing back the assault team, and is probably going to pin this super quickly. So it might get one pen, but that is all you can expect from the M1 gun over here now. Nope, no pen at all. 13-11 for GustGod still. And the hill continues to be holding. Sherm pushing in. Could maybe get another side shot, but if the Rhino turns in time, it's again likely not happening. That spots the basics, so... Rifles early versus rifles late, and the Rhino. Oh, big xylophone strike again. Yeah, GustGod has correctly predicted something behind here is holding that flag. That's a nice move there. However, it's not actually giving him any flags now. But the M5 gun here that pushed out is so far has failed to stop whatever is here. Or actually killed 2 transports. GustGod has not given up though. He's trying again. But he needs to move forward now very quickly or he's going to lose that. He could easily bomb that. There's no AA. The AA is focused on these 2 areas, of course, where most of the action is happening. This is always a safe bet. If you want to make a push in an area where basically no fighting has happened so far, and your opponent has not vastly outrated you, and had a good chance to really, you know, buy AA everywhere, this is where you can easily use plane support, air support, because your opponent likely doesn't have anything ready to go over there. Crocodile is in as well, so this is going to be pretty much indestructible here, unless you bring in M10 full close range APCR. Even the regular AP of the of the M10 is not going to be enough, since it only has 130mm of pen, whereas the 150mm of armor from the Crocodile. It looks like he's trying to use it here actually as a meat shield here in the open, and that could actually work. The M10 can pen it with the APCR. Definitely. But, oh, that's a bit of a waste of an airstrike in my opinion. Oh, there we go. Recon getting out there. A20G getting out there. All of them going after the M5 gun though, which at the moment is not preventing any armor pushes here, because there is not doing any armor pushes here. Meanwhile, oh, the assault boss, so yeah, this is the rocket one, so this is going to hurt the engineers quite a bit. The engineers are not going to win that suppression fight. The assault group here, oh yeah, GustGod is not going to win that. He needs his fighter bomber to bomb this, and then he might have a chance at winning. Oh no, he's going to lose against the one assault buster there. That's really bad. Oh, but this thing flew over a lot of bofers, so there's at least 2 bofers in range there. It might actually go down. Oh, there we go. That's a huge kill. These are hard to kill, but once you lose them, you lose a lot of your power in the skies, of course. 13 for GustGod still, as that is pushed in really net benefit. This is one of the things you always need to keep in mind. And sometimes this is the difference that you notice between the top players and the lower divisions, where, you know, you have airstrikes like here where you don't actually win anything from it, and it also doesn't net you any flags, right? It doesn't net you a push, doesn't net you a flag. So why would you do an airstrike there? Do an airstrike where you can actually support and enable a push. But if you see if way too close, that one definitely needs to fall back. Players here also in a very dangerous position. No 2k coming in because GustGod run out of it. And, well, no, he still has the AT guns. Surprised that we don't see those. And now slowly the armor is pushing this flag. Probably going to fall. Our recon is out again. P47 is in there to go after the M5 gun. Targeting the F5A. Oh, there we go. One of the How? Did both of us go after it? No, the M5 gun over here got it. Yeah, it was never going to get that. It's flying over a triple vet M16 and double vet both of us. I could actually die now. Would not be surprised if it did. Ooh. No, it's going to get out. That's a very close call, though. Yeah, I think so. If you have like a big force, like a larger force over here, or it's in channel somewhere, it's probably better to go like sideways with your planes. That might just work. This flag being regrabbed here, though, brings it back to 12-12, as these two flags have now definitely fallen to a Dédé, and GustGod fails to bring up a reaction on his own. Dédé, though, are really struggling with pushing here the hill and the towns at the moment. Not ideal for either of those two, but I think Dédé definitely has an option of grabbing this flag by just putting something in here and then maybe bringing an AT. Like, he can safely approach from this side. If he brings an AT gun, if he has like another M5 gun, he could definitely put that here and kill that crocodile from up close. Or at least try to work on it. Also, his artillery is being silent, which is very bad. So when you have artillery, always keep using it. Like the xylophone, it's going after the Sherman over here. Will not actually be needed, but of course he can do the trick here as well. Fails to kill though. Gosh, this thing is so bad. It is really bad. He can do more than you would think, but it will also always surprise you how bad it actually is. Stone walls are coming in to fill the gap here, but GustGod is doing the same with an assault group, so that's not ideal. Crocodile is being focused by the 105. That's of course one of the ways to deal with it. There's not that many options. If the M5 gun over here is not an option, then it's pretty much the only thing other than the A20s, and one of which has died though. Demolition group coming in here. I have to imagine GustGod has to be no, I don't have to imagine GustGod has to be very careful with his armor, because if he's not careful with his infantry, he will run out very quickly. We have to remember he doesn't have that many like line infantry. It's mostly some CQC and then the basics, which are pretty much your basic pitch as we've already established. Crocodile slowly moving up here. That is not good news. Also, the ammo is right here, so it can't just easily dominate here. Also, at some point it will get stressed out by all the fire, and then it might make mistakes. It might turn, and then it might actually die. But M5 gun coming in here for the hill. Probably some ammo would be in order now as well to support that. But looks like GustGod just decides to hold this flag from up here, which is definitely a good call. It's nothing wrong with that. As it stands, GustGod is at an advantage with the 12-12, as he has more flags. But now, there we go, push in the south now. Did it, making good work there. Bases and church tower are great, but they have either revealed themselves or gotten spotted otherwise. So now they're going to get shelled. Recon church tower is still alive, by the way. Third land for GustGod now. How did that happen? Oh, he got that flag. Yeah, the basics push forward. Rhino is still here in a nice position, but the Stonewallers might re-grab the flag. If they can see the basics, if I get spotted by any of these units, which, no, it's not going to happen, they could definitely kill off the bases and grab the flag back. But there we go, forced off. Oh, A220 comes in, going after the demolition group, but the assault group's also there. M10 is pushing in, and the Sherman, so some plays are happening here. Crocodile would need to move up here as well to really block this. But again, the Crocodile here can prove to be very problematic, of course. The problem with that is larger force is currently idle. He's not doing anything with it, and that's partially, I think, due to the lack of 2 kg, but also he might be afraid that there's something, which there is not. He can't see anything, but he has recon, so that should let him know that there's actually nothing. Like, if your recon close up and you don't see anything, then that is usually a sign for there not being anything. So that's how it usually goes. Crocodile got a first pen on the M10. Spalling is also pen, yeah. M10 returned the favor. Or Crocodile goes down before he can shoot again. That's huge. So that thing could have blocked everything here. But that's the APCR gone. So unless it's reloaded now, which is not looking like it's going to be the case, that is all that Dédé is going to get out of the M10 here, because this thing will most likely not be penned. It is possible. I think there's a relatively low chance, and that Rhino will dominate this Sherman over there. Rifles early coming, but again, nothing with Bazooka. Oh, here we go. Crocodile has engaged as well. M10 is just sneaking through. That could potentially be problematic. Crocodile so far not being penned. So here the APCR is not working that well. just bouncing. Well, we're also at a bit of a longer range, so there's that. And apparently this is just not angled enough for it to count as a side shot, so the M1 gun struggles to pen. And the Crocodile also struggles to pen the M10. Ooh, this thing pushing through is, as I said, problematic. Now it is not an M8, so this thing could drive up and kill it with the bazooka. That's one thing that could happen here. Here's the thing, the Crocodile, as it is going to get stressed out, will eventually fall back, it will turn, and then it will get penned. But also, it will struggle to hit anything because of the, debuff from the suppression. 50 cal here, in a nice position to finally stop the M1 gun over here. More reinforcements here ready to go, but it's mostly CQC, so that's not a good sign. Looks like GustGod might be out of line infantry, which I don't really know how he intends to win that fight then in the long run. M5 gun here on the hill, getting shelled now by the 105. This one as well. And then they go after the basics to re-grab this flag. This flag being grabbed by the Sherman. Looks like the Rhino won the fight versus the M10. Crocodile and M10 still fighting. Stuart now coming in. Interesting. Rhino not pushing for... Oh, Demo Creep gets the kill with the bazooka. That's going to bring back to 11 for GustGod. Crocodile here still being tanky. The Sherman won't win that fight. Definitely not. 50 cal here forced it back. Oh, M5 gun here under pressure by this 50 cal. It won't win that fight. Another M5 gun could soon follow. That's definitely bad for GustGod. Crocodile is falling back. Could definitely start re-engaging. I think it's undamaged, right? Oh yeah, brand new basically. Paint not even scratched. More dudes coming in. I think GustGod might be out of armor as well. Did he only have 4 rhinos? Took them double there. Yeah, there might only be 4 in B phase then. That's possible. Or is it 6? No, it could be 4. In which case it's definitely out because we've seen 2 here. Or he might have 1. We've seen 1 here. No, we actually seen 2 here. I think one of them died. I'm not mistaken. Might be wrong. Oh, Rhino are pushing aggressively. Nothing here to stop that actually. No, it doesn't have heat. And 5 gun coming in. That's about the last thing that can stop that Rhino. Otherwise, nothing here can really... Half track pushing and pushing. Could go after the Bofors here. Could potentially... Well, it's going to lose, I think, the fight against the Bofors. But it could just move in here and hold the flag for a little bit. If GustGod can then get another flag, that would be huge. That brings him a 15-9. Crocodile here is just continuing to be very annoying. Ammo did not follow... Oh, did the ammo die? Ammo truck died. Wow. Probably due to the M5 gun here. Or this one. That was absolutely huge, because that means none of these are going to get reloaded with their APCR. So the Crocodile, if it can tank the remaining shots of this M5 gun, unless there's more ammo coming in, the Crocodile will be able to just block this off completely, despite it being outranged. And outpenned and everything. It's just not that much that can happen. Rhino here. Wait, did he get a pen? No, it's just bouncing. This thing will also continue bouncing for quite a while. Oh, look at that. The half-track actually pinned the Bofors. Pinned the Bofors, but the Bofors is not going to get killed by it anytime soon. And there we go. Basics coming in with some rifles late. So GustGod still has some line infantry. But the problem is this half-track is not going to kill it. Did the Silophone die to count? Oh, no. It is here where it got resupplied. And it's being targeted. I think that is a little bit excessive going after 50 cal with that. Especially with the blob of stewards coming in there. The Crocodile could, if there was some recon spot for it, which there is, definitely push forward and try to re-engage and be dominant. Oh, look at that. It killed the M10 by the looks of it. But does GustGod actually see what's happening? No, he does not see what's waiting him here. That's quite a bit that's there. With the Bofors pinned down, though, GustGod is free to use his Air Force again. And he makes sure to use that well. Now, he has to be careful not to fly directly into front of this, since this thing has 8 50 cals too. 51 tries to get on the back of it, actually managed to do that, shoots one of them down, might shoot the other one down too. Both is not... Wow, gets both plane kills. That's huge again. 820G fails to kill the Rhino though. Might lose it? Probably not. Probably not. But he lost the P51. Well, since there's no more Air Force by GustGod, likely it's probably not that bad. Losing this would be absolutely Yeah, that would be way worse. 37 minutes though, so we only have a little bit more than 10 minutes to go. 39 for GustGod still, and at the moment it doesn't really look like Dédé is going to get any other flags. Let's look at how damaged the Rhino is. Quite damaged, so anything penning it would be an issue for GustGod. He's just trying to do a counter push here with, he has a 50 cal. If he can pin that, no, the M5 gun, he can still prevent that. Go after that infantry. Stuart working on the half track there. He's just unloading them here, which is probably the right call, since he can't really continue to push on. Crocodile once again could do it, but it is being held in reserve for the time being. Not a Crocodile arriving. I don't really see how Dédé is going to work past that. Other than reloading the M5 gun, which is not happening at the moment, so yeah, it's going to be tricky. He has to have more ammo though. We've seen one truck over here, we've seen one truck over here. He definitely has more of them. He just needs to bring them. But it would be very important because, again, the Crocodile, he really can't stop that otherwise. The Crocodile would just drive through here and dominate this. It shouldn't be able to dominate like that, but it might just do it. There we go, another M5 gun being destroyed by the M5 guns on the hill. Assault group and half shack just pushing through. 50 cal opening up on the M5 gun over here. Crocodile has spotted the Sherman now. The other Crocodile is also arriving, and it looks like it's just a wall of thick armor and flames is gonna push Dédé off the open here, despite this being outranged. How amazing! These can feel really oppressive to play against. Not gonna lie, and you know it's all for the relatively cheap price of 85 points. Like for this, that's not bad at all. Now the pen sucks, so. Gotta have some downsides. But still, I mean, it's not that far. Like, if you compare it to a Jumbo, it's still quite a bit cheaper for really not that much less armor. 30 millimeters less, which matters. Don't get me wrong. It definitely matters. There's many more things, much more things that can kill a Crocodile than things that can kill a Jumbo. And it doesn't have a 50 cal, but still. Surprisingly cheap for the amount of armor you get, and for, you know, you still get a decent pen, so for medium tanks it's still more than enough. If you're up against like Jagdpanzer, yeah, that's a different story. It is also super cheap. What I can do, like the Jagdpanzer 4 is incredibly efficient. I don't really know actually what the sides are in this civil war, so I don't know. But it's safe to say, GustGod is winning it. Rhino is continuing to be annoying here. APCR used up on the M5 gun over here, so it's going to struggle against Rhino. He can pen it. It's not that he can't, but it's going to struggle. Fire assault, fire support now moving in. But again, the Rhino, they can't really do much against it. Rhino just tries to snipe transport, fails to do so though. And 5 gun is now slowly moving to position with the APCR still on. He can pin that Rhino. Assault fire support actually got the flag back here, but assault group here in the half track making another push. There's still a rifles leader. Bazooka could stop that. Assault group here has to fall back because yeah, it just sucks at CQC. It loses against the assault team, which I get it is chunky and it has a lot of M1, but like this should not win against the CQC. Dedicated CQC SMG unit. Yet it does, so there's that. Oh! Half-strike sniped, otherwise this thing basically acted like an open. Oh, this Sherman here got bailed out by the M5 gun. That's really bad. GustGod still continues to be dominating this. Half-strike here. No. Doesn't spot this rifle leader. Is gonna kill the assault group as the assault group is gonna get outranged. Wow. Crocodiles are pushing. There we go. Kind of missed a bit of the action here, but still. Crocodiles slowly pushing forward. Being pretty much unstoppable. M8 now coming in as well as some Stuarts. Basics come in to re-grab this flag finally. Nothing here to stop those. Nothing coming in either. It is... it continues to amaze me. It's always great to see that. Rhino is still alive, by the way, both of them. So Dédé is really struggling with heavy armor here. That's one of the issues that, of course, you have in this matchup. Crocodile just continues to push forward. There's nothing here to stop that. Leader is actually pinned, so Stuart could move in and surrender it if it does it quick enough, because this thing has bazookas. He needs to be careful close to that. There we go. Crocodile spots the M16. Well, this crocodile here died. 2 up. Maybe got side shot by one of the M5 guns or by the Sherman. Where did it die? There it died. There it is. Yeah, look, it was looking this way, so probably killed by the Sherman. Got a side shot on that, which is definitely great there for Dédé. Still 14-10 by GustGod. He's holding the flags just barely. The problem that I see for Dédé is how does he want to get back? And you know, to be honest, I didn't see it for GustGod over here, and then somehow it happened with the APCR not being reloaded and the crocodile just being crocodiles. But at the same time, oh, there it is. The last rhino is coming in. Oh, there's more of them actually. There's another one here. So maybe there's 6. But here I just really can't see it either. Actually, yeah, there we go. 12-12. But still, he's pushing over here. I don't really think he's going to give him a flag against a rhino. Leader is here as well with a bazooka. So these are not going to be dominating that much. There's also still a xylophone, which is now going after leader over here. Another rhino coming in for the open here. Looks like another crocodile died. Did he get side-shotted again? Yep, yeah, I mean, you really don't want to, like, I think... Oh, it's not what I wanted. GustGod probably lacks vision. Oh, he actually sees some things there. But yeah, I think he pushed just a little bit too far and not actually clearing out anything. That's going to be a bit of an issue. GustGod trying to push for the F-59. Oh, M5 gun over here, spotting the Sherman, actually. That would be a problem. This thing starts running out of HE, and at that point, the bases can just push in. Oh, Sherman bouncing though. GustGod re-grabbed both flags already. Oh, rifle leader's going to get in. That's finally going to kill that rhino. That's been here, been such a huge pain for that all this time. But this one still refuses to just die. Actually gets a pen on the Sherman over there. Another Sherman moving in over here. If they start creating some pressure, another xylophone coming in. I have a feeling that GustGod is running out of other things to call in, so he's falling back to the xylophone, which is actually not a bad call. Like, seriously, in the last moments, even a bad rocket artillery that can just pin and make sure that you and disrupt and a push from your opponent can absolutely be worth it, or pin and allow you to move in, since it gives you the flag. At this point, if you reach the 45-minute mark, or a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later, anyway, around that time, generally speaking, the most important thing is flags. You can really ignore trades. It doesn't matter anymore at all. You just need to get the flags. So if you call in tools or use tools that give you those flags, that is definitely worth it. Like at this point, even artillery is generally speaking worth it. Artillery usually needs some time to really pay off, but if it's that close to the end, this is where artillery, even if you buy an artillery, like a proper artillery gun, that is still super useful. Oh, rifle leader is just not close enough to kill the rhino that's going to get forced. Artillery leader in here. GustGod is definitely running out of things. P-47 got in here, bombed something. I have to assume one of the M5 guns. And there we go. Basics moving in again to re-grab the flag. 12-12 again with these 2 flags being re-grabbed. No, just that one. And that one by the Sherman. Rhino got a shooter knocked out. It also got penned once. Wow. GustGod really not having a good day today. Rhino finally ready to retaliate. Hunting goes on. Rifles leader is probably going to be the one to finish a job here. Finally a pen for GustGod. I think the rifles leader is going to do it. Any second now. Just a bit. And there we go. Rifles leader are pushing in, so looks like finally now Dédé might be able to re-grab this, but it's just a little bit too late. Rhino still chilling here. Sherman now moving up here, and the lack of bazookas on GustGod's side, I think, all of a sudden noticeable. But it doesn't really matter anymore. GustGod is too far ahead. Dédé will need to turn it around massively for it to really make a difference, and I just don't see that happening really. In terms of things of the map, it looks like GustGod was either actually slightly outtraded, or at least the trades were relatively even. I don't see a massive advantage here for GustGod, really. And a lot of the tools that he has right now are support tools, although we have a lot of leaders out for Dédé as well at the moment, so might be a little bit flawed, that view. 820 going after the Rhino. Considering how damaged that is, I think it's going to go down here. There we go. 820, of course, being unbothered as this. Opus here did die. And this one is way too far as well as the other one that is still there. Basic's actually moving in and grabbing this flag very soon. Nice move there. Yeah, this is really well secured, I think, for GustGod. There's no way this is gonna get turned around by that time. It's really just the position here. GustGod got this. He was in a demanding position. Dédé failed to push here. I think that's what it really came down to in the end. Again, I don't think there's a huge trade deficit on Dédé's side. I think it's just the positioning that GustGod got and him, you know, profiting from it, making the right calls with it. He wants the 15-9. Oh, Sherman versus Rhino here. Not a bounce fest. But yeah, it looks like GustGod wants to search that 15-9. Might actually not get it since they're both pushing up here, holding this flag. And leader is pushing forward. This time it might actually get the kill. I don't think it's going to fail again. Oh, no. It's going to fail again. And there we go. Sherman goes down. Telephone gets this. Flag up here was grabbed too. GustGod not moving in. But with these pins, the flag will probably flip. No push following. Oh, both is here pushed up for the flag. Nice moves there. But it's a little bit too late. And it's actually going to lose that regardless. It's going to be 14-10. Do we see the 15-9 finally? No, we don't, as Dédé surrenders before it happens. 48 minutes, 27 seconds. What a great game, though. Very entertaining. And there we go. Yeah, look at that. GustGod out-traded Dédé ever so slightly, about 300 points. That's not a massive difference. Of course, it matters when you play these mirror incomes, but still, it's not that huge. It's really just, as we've talked about, the positioning. And I think Dédé had such a huge force in the open, and he didn't really use it super well. Just sat there with it. He didn't actually generate more pressure. He didn't push. That allowed GustGod to, you know, take the time to react slowly and get into a good position again. Then, of course, as we established, those crocodiles really did a lot of work. This is, of course, where having both these 820 still would have mattered quite a bit because they could have helped with that. So just that. There's a chronology. We can definitely see here that Dédé got some good openers, but GustGod continued to trade quite well very early on. He was pressured nicely by Dédé there on the hill, but the off-map stopped the push. It was a little bit more on GustGod's side for quite a while. Then we had some patches of Dédé recovering. I think that's also when he started pushing the open, where GustGod lost all 4 of his Hellcats. That was a really bad engagement there for him. But there we go, huge comeback with some good trades by Rhinos. And the crocodiles is where these started coming in and generate a lot of value. Oh, the 51 double kill, of course, that was fantastic too. Great job there by Dédé and his P51. And then it just continued like that to the end. What do we have here? Soul Bus is doing quite well. I think that was the one. That was the one in the open. Oh yeah, that was so bad for GustGod. I really he got a really bad luck there with that engagement. That Sherman, that single by killing this thing. I mean, at this point, it does. If you're that close, hitting is not the issue anymore. It's mostly down to penning, and yeah, GustGod just got a lot of bad luck there. The 820 though performed super well. It was also generally targeting good units, except for the one M5 gun up north that was kind of pointless there. The 105s were also could put to good use, at least one of them. The other one has not fired that often, as we've seen. Then it was not reloaded, I think. Oh, look at that M5 gun. That was the one in the open clear, the one that was still standing in the end. Look at that kill streak. Wow. Is there anything this thing didn't kill? I don't think so. The other one too. It was the same M5 gun that sniped the whole 4 Hellcats. Wow. Yeah, that was a really bad engagement. I'm not really sure what GustGod's idea there was, but it did work out that much clear. The other 105, yeah, actually, oh wow, actually got quite a bit of kills as well. Very good kills there too. So I think that it generally his artillery target good units, and GustGod just failed to move some of them around because some of them were tanks and they shouldn't really die to artillery. It's easy to say that, of course. It happens to me as well. At least my tanks artillery. I'm not trying to sound like it would be better here. It's just something that I noticed. And for here though, yeah, this was lucky for GustGod though, because these could definitely have sniped that M4, the Sherman, which didn't happen. Off-Mav didn't kill that many things, as we expect. 1 in 5 can kill in lots, 2 at 70. You notice that. Rhino, yeah, this is not really surprising. Should win against the Sherman, should win against the M1 gun, at least as close as it was. There was the one on the hill. The M10 is kind of lucky, but I think this is the one that probably got softened up by the, what's it called? By the Crocodile already, and it was out of APCR, which would have mattered here quite a bit. Another M10 killing some Shermans, as it was probably outranging them. Hellcat, it's still, I mean, still got 2 M10s, so those were good engagements for GustGod. I think GustGod used all his luck for his heavier armored and his 2K units, and just not for, and there was nothing left for his Shermans, because he got some luck with in the other areas. We have to admit that too. Another Rhino being quite dominating here. Falafel actually did get some kills, so I'm impressed by that. I mean, GustGod made a good job of using them relatively close most of the time, so that actually meant that it could be put to good use, and he could at least pin things and sometimes even kill. So it was not. This was actually showcasing of how you can use it somewhat efficiently. I have to give him that. M5 gun here. Oh, I think that was the one that sniped these later on. That's pretty good. Not a Rhino, not a Crocodile, not an M5 gun, not a Crocodile. Yeah, it's really just the heavy armor tanks that, of course, can survive for a while and then kill a lot of things. So just that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and see you all in the next one.